Hi, this is Shannon. This is Cycle 2, Week 19, Tutor and Memory Work Ideas. I'm excited to share some fun ideas that you can use with your community group as a tutor or at home or both. If you are new to my channel, I am a homeschooling mom of 3 little ones, 7, 5, and 3 now. And we do classical homeschooling, love it. This is our 4th year doing it. I've tutored every year and absolutely love it. I get to tutor the littles, the abecedarians, so the 4 through 6-year-olds. So these ideas are with them in mind, but you can definitely adjust them or use most of the ideas, if not all of them, for older kids too. Before we get into the tutor ideas, I want to show you a couple fun resources that you can use at home with your kids. First of all, these timeline cards are a super fun end of the year gift idea. So I am going to make one for each kid in my group that I tutor. These aren't actual kids, these are just examples, just so you know. But what I do is I design the card, I put their name on it, and then I write some just things that they accomplished through the year, or just some things that defined their year. And then they have the state on the top, their school year, how old they are. So just a really fun little memento memory from the year. So if you are interested in making one of these for your own child, or if you're a tutor and want to make them for your class, you can check them out in my shop. I have a Canva template you can use if you want to make your own. I also have the option to make them as well. So you can check out my shop and see those options. I made these for my group last year and they loved them. It was just a really fun gift. So we're getting closer to the end of the year, so I wanted to share that with you. I'm excited to share I have the next Cycle 2 review book ready and available in my shop. So this book has 50 more activities that review the second half of Cycle 2, so weeks 13 through 24, has activities for all the subjects, including timeline. And I just made these activities to help the kids dig deeper into the concepts and connect them, just understand them more and review what they've learned in Cycle 2 this year. So I'll show you a few of the pages. This is a science page about thermodynamics. They get to find different items in the kitchen and learn how they apply to the different laws of thermodynamics. And then this is how light is observed. And so again, there's activities for all the subjects, and there's these fun little circular images that you can print on labels or just cut out, and they're scattered throughout the book, and the kids can put them in the matching spots. So I will link below where that is in my shop. You can download a sample page, check it out more. I will do this with my girls spring, early summer to just help them review the Cycle 2 material they've learned and get us ready for Cycle 3. Also, I'm starting to post Cycle 3 resources in my shop. I wanted to show you this United States workbook. Cycle 3 is focused on the United States, which is super fun. I'm super excited about it. So I made this book very similar to my Europe book. If you use that this year, it just has a page for each state, including Washington, D.C. I'll show you here's Florida, so you can see it shows where the capital is, where Florida is located in the United States, state bird, state flower, state animal, flag, and the kids can color them, and there's a fun fact about each state and a picture. At the end of the book too, I have all the state trees and state flowers, state animals for the kids to reference. There's maps in here, both labeled and unlabeled, of the United States. So a great resource to use in Cycle 3 with your kids. Just want to share it with you now. I know we're not there yet, but it will be here soon. Also, make sure you stick around to the end of my video. I have some more fun free games that you can play with your kids during the week to practice the memory work from this week. So I will explain how to get them and what they are at the end of my video. Now for the tutor plans. For geography that I like to start with normally, I have my Trivium table map. We are learning about Southeastern Asia. So I've got North Korea, South Korea. You can see they're really small. That's why I'm using my tiny hand. I'll talk more about that in a second. Then we've got Taiwan and the Philippines, and we've got Guam over here. Probably have to draw Guam in because on most maps they don't have it. It's just really small. So these maps come from the Classical Conversations bookstore. You can also just print off the map from the Sandbox easing in CC Connected, laminate it if you want or not, but I like to use these. So I mark these with dry erase marker before our class time begins. I prep them during the week just so the kids can easily see where they are since I have younger kids if you had older kids, you could have them do this for sure. So I'm going to teach the kids a little song to the tune "Oh Susanna," and I'll fold this so you can see it better. And what I'm going to do is give them each a little hand because these are tiny little places. So we're going to use our tiny little hands. These are so fun. If you're a tutor and don't have these, I use them all the time. The kids love them. Super fun. So I'm going to have them point with their tiny hand to each country. First, I'll go over them. Just tell them, okay, the purple one is North Korea and the orange one is South Korea, and have them point with me. And then we'll sing the song together and point as we sing. So the song goes like this. Southeastern Asia, North Korea, South Korea, Taiwan, Philippines, Guam. Southeastern Asia, North Korea, South Korea, Taiwan, Philippines, Guam. So we'll sing that several times with their little finger. I also like to have them erase the places, and we try it without them being marked just for an extra challenge. So I would say, okay, let's all erase the purple country. What was that called again? Oh yeah, North Korea. Let's erase that either with our real finger, or you can try to erase it with your tiny hand. Then let's erase the orange country. What's that called? So you can review them as you have them erase them one at a time. Then when they're all erased, you can have them try to sing the song and follow along, finding the places without them actually being marked. And encourage the parents to help them too, especially since they're little. So that's geography this week. For English this week, we are learning the definition of a gerund. And so for this one, I'm going to teach them a fun song to the tune "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands." And we're going to sing it to different silly voices. So I have these silly voice cards. I've shown them a lot. If you've watched my other videos, hopefully you've gotten them. They're free on my blog. I'll link below how to grab them, but just a really fun resource. Kids love saying the memory work in different silly voices. It's easy and they always love it. So just a great thing to do. So first I will sing you the song normally. And what I would do is after singing the song normally and having the kids try to maybe sing it with me normally a few times, then I'll hand out a silly voice card like baby voice or underwater voice or through your teeth voice. I'll give one to each kid, and then we'll just switch off singing the song in the different silly voices. So the normal song goes like this. A gerund is a present participle, verb form used as a noun. A gerund is a present participle, verb form used as a noun. So I'd have them sing that with me a few times. And then if one of the kids has opera voice, we would all sing it in an opera voice, like, a gerund is a present participle. Again, the song is to the tune "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands." And please grab these if you haven't already. They're a great resource. I will link below how to grab them. And that is English this week. For timeline this week, I have my timeline cards like I normally do. Get these from the Classical Conversations bookstore. I highly recommend them. We use them all the time. And then I get these letters from the dollar store, and I tape the first letter of each event on each card. Just since I have younger kids, it helps them identify what they are if they don't know how to read yet. So this week I'm going to change it up a little bit, and I'm not going to hide the cards around the room like I've done a lot of times. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hang them up on the wall. I'm going to put 7 pieces of painter's tape and hang them up before our class time starts. So when I'm prepping in the morning, and I'm going to intentionally hang one out of order. So most of them are going to be in the right order, but there's going to be 2 that are switched that are not in the right order. And I'm just going to tell the kids, hey, we're going to sing the timeline song, and I want you to look at the cards on the wall as we sing. And if you see anything kind of weird, let me know. So then we'll sing through the events, and I'll see who kind of maybe recognizes, hey, wait, those aren't in the right order. Then when somebody recognizes that, we will talk about what we need to change in order to get them in the correct order, and we'll sing through them in the correct order. Then whoever was able to figure out what was wrong before, I'll have everybody else close their eyes, and that person can come switch the order of 2 other cards, and then we'll see who can figure out which cards they changed. We'll do that a few times for however many kids want to come up and switch them. And then when we're done with that, I'll have all the kids come stand up in front of the cards, in the correct order. We'll make sure they're in the correct order, and we'll go over the motions together. So the motions this week, the first event is Lincoln's War between the states. So we're just going to do L and then war. And then the next one is Reconstruction of the Southern States. So we're going to go like this for Reconstruction, and then make an S and go down for Southern States. So Reconstruction of the Southern States. And then Dominion of Canada, we're just going to grab onto our collar and pull it down a little bit. Dominion of Canada. And then we're going to bring our fingers together and link them for Otto von Bismarck. Then for Germany, we're going to link our pinkies and go like this. So Otto von Bismarck unifies Germany. And then Boer Wars, so we're going to make a B for wars in Africa. And then the Spanish S, American War. And then the Progressive Era, we're just going to go forward with our hands like that. So I'll do it again to the tune so you can kind of see what it looks like. So Lincoln's War between the states, Reconstruction of the Southern States, Dominion of Canada, Otto von Bismarck unifies Germany, Boer Wars in Africa, the Spanish-American War, the Progressive Era, and then it keeps going. So that's timeline this week. For math this week, we are learning about the area of a circle. So I'm going to bring my hula hoop in. I actually have several hula hoops I'm going to bring. I also just made the circle diagram to show the kids as I talk about the area formula. I'll tell them that the area, remember, is the space inside the circle. I'll tell them about this number pi is equal to 3.14 and keeps going, going, going. And then r is the radius, and we'll talk about what the radius is. If we go to the center of the circle, and we find the distance between the center and the outside of the circle anywhere, it is the same distance, and that is called the radius. Radius squared means we multiply the radius by itself. So just a quick explanation. They can go deeper into that at home if they want. But we're going to continue with our geometry song. I'm going to put these hula hoops on the floor and have the kids walk around the edge of them the first time we sing the song. And then I'm going to have them jump from the outside of the hula hoop to the inside and the back outside again. The next time we sing the song, you could have them tiptoe around the outside of the hula hoop. You could have them hop on one foot around the outside of the hula hoop, or hop on one foot from the outside to the inside to the outside again. Lots of different things just to help them understand that we're talking about the area of the circle, and that's why we're using hula hoops, because hula hoops are circles. So the geometry song that we're going to sing goes like this, and I will start from the beginning so they'll hear it all the way through area of a circle. So, geometry, geometry, let's learn some geometry. The area of a rectangle equals length times width. The area of a square equals length of the side squared s squared. Area of a triangle equals 1/2 base times height. The area of a circle equals pi times the radius squared. And I'll stop there. And then again, I'll sing it again as they do some other motion or action around the hula hoop. So that's math this week. For history this week, we're learning about the Korean War. And there's a couple options that you can do with this. So I'm planning to do silly words with my kids again, meaning I will sing the song normally for them, and then I'll throw some silly words in, and if they hear a silly word, they raise their hand and tell me what the word should be. They love it, and so I have that prepared. You could also just have them kind of dance around to the song, and then when they hear the word stop, they have to stop and freeze for the rest of the song or something like that. But it is a catchy song, and it is just kind of a natural, you stop when you hear the word stop. So that's a pretty simple way to do it too. But the silly word game that I'm going to play, what I will do is I'll first sing the song normally to the kids. So it goes like this. In 1950, General Douglas MacArthur led United Nations forces to stop Communist North Korea from capturing all of South Korea during the Korean War. So then I'll tell them, okay, I'm going to sing it again, but I'm going to throw some silly words in. And if you hear a silly word, raise your hand and tell me what it is. So I'll start like this. In 1950, General Snuggles Snuggles? No, not Snuggles. What should it be? Oh, Douglas. Okay. So then I go to the beginning and sing it normally until the next silly word. So in 1950, General Douglas MacArthur led United Nation horses to horses? No, it should be forces. So then I go back to the beginning again, sing it normally until the next silly word. So they're actually hearing it the correct way a lot of times, which is great. So the silly words I used were Snuggles instead of Douglas, horses instead of forces, funniest instead of communist, snow instead of south, and roar instead of war at the very end. So again, you could just have them stand around, dance, and then just freeze when they hear the word stop, and that would be really fun too. So that is history this week. For science this week, we are learning about the first law of thermodynamics. I want to show you first of all the placemat I made about that. So I've shown these before. These are in my shop. I have placemats for all 24 weeks of cycle 2 for science and history. So what I do is I put science on one side and then the history for the same week on the other side. And they're just a really fun way to dive a little bit deeper into the topics at home. So my kids use these and we talk more about what does this even mean? And it just has some simple explanations just to help kids understand the history and science topics better. So I wanted to show you this. But in our community, what we're going to do is sing a simple song to the tune I've Been Working on the Railroad. And it's actually going to include all 3 laws of thermodynamics. But this week, we're just going to sing the first part. And we're going to do a little hand motion when we sing created, like something's being created or growing. And when we sing the word destroyed, we're going to go like that with our hands. So the song goes like this. The first law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be created or destroyed. So we're just going to do that several times. So we'll do it again. And remember, we do this for created and this for destroyed. The first law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be created or destroyed. And then the next week we'll continue like this. The second law, the law of entropy, explains why heat flows, and it keeps going. But this week we're just going to stick with the first part, do those simple hand motions several times, keep it real simple, and that is science this week. For Latin this week, we are learning the first conjugation endings perfect tense. So it goes like this. E isti it, emis istis errant, first conjugation perfect tense. So what we're going to do this week is we're going to do some fun poses and hold the pose as we're singing through these Latin endings. So I have some ideas of poses that I give, or you could just have the kids come up with ideas, which is fun. We'll start with just a normal pose where we'll put our right foot against our left knee. So the knee is bent, right foot goes against left knee. We're standing on our left foot. And we're just trying to stand there and hold that pose the whole time we sing E isti it, emis istis errant, first conjugation, perfect tense, and see if we can hold it for that whole time. Then we'll do another pose. So for example, I give some ideas in my blog post that I'll link below, you can look at it, but downward dog, make a triangle shape like a stretching puppy, or snake pose, lie on your belly like a snake, tree pose, stand on one foot, with your arms reached out like branches, and I give some more ideas like that too. Or you could have the kids just come up with some fun poses. The idea is to hold the pose the whole time you sing through the endings. So that is Latin this week. For review this week, we are going to play a game called tic-tac-toe. So I have this, but you could also just write up on a whiteboard. So you could bring in a piece of paper or write on a whiteboard, divide the group into 2 groups of kids. One group is X's, one group is O's, and you just ask a review question from the last few weeks, like who remembers the area of a rectangle? And then whoever raises their hand, you call on them. If they get it right, then somebody from that team or them gets to come and put either a circle or an X in one of the spots. Then you just keep playing until one of the teams gets 3 in a row. And then you can play again as many times as you want. Just another fun way to review. I like to just bring my foundations guide in with me and just flip to the past couple weeks to just give me some ideas for review questions. So that's review this week. All right, last thing, I want to show you the games you can use at home with your kids to just practice the memory work throughout the week. And these are free to download. I just like making games to play with my kids, so I hope you enjoy them too. So first, I made this thermodynamics board game with these cards. And so you can just have a game piece and you get to go along the board. It tells you how many spaces to move each time. And then sometimes a space will tell you to draw a card, and then there's a little fact explaining an example of how thermodynamics work, and all three laws are on this game. So the kids don't have to know anything to play it. It's a very educational game. They learn as they play, but it's playing a game, so it's fun. So the cards are different colors depending on what law. So like first law is orange, second law is blue, third law is turquoise, and you can see on the board, orange is the first law, blue, turquoise. So super fun. You can download for free. It's great for any age kids because it's very educational, so older kids would learn a lot too. Then the Latin bingo game I've shown before with the calling cards. This reviews all the Latin for all of Cycle 2, so great review, and it has little pictures to help the kids remember how to pronounce the Latin endings. And then I have the shapes game. I can't find my little dice that goes with it, but there's a dice template that you can just cut out and fold around and tape, and it makes a die with squares on one side, circles on the one side, triangles, etc. But this is just a fun little board game that you can play and review the area formulas that the kids have learned. So all three of these are free to download, just a really fun way to review the memory work throughout the week. I will link below in my description where you can grab those. Thanks so much for watching. I hope this video has been helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. If you are enjoying my videos, please subscribe to my channel. I'm posting one video per week with tutor ideas or other homeschooling tips, encouragement, sometimes healthy living things. And check out my Instagram. I like to post what I do with my kids throughout the week and sometimes just some spontaneous resources I end up making. And check out my blog where I have my free resource library where you can get games like I just showed you. And I also have my shop where I'm putting more and more Cycle 3 resources out. So check that out. Also, I have that Cycle 2 review book that reviews the last 12 weeks. I also have one for the first 12 weeks, so I will link below where you can find that. Thanks again for watching and have a great day.